Hey YouTube, this is Mixie Tarot. So I wanted to come back and do another reading on coronavirus. The last video I did, I told you guys the story about how I went into the antique shop. This was definitely over a month ago. I had gone to an antique shop and I was being called to the store for whatever reason, and I found some antique tarot cards, but I happened to come across a kaleidoscope that that looked like a microscope, and the shapes were changing, and I immediately got the message, as I said before in the last video, that this is what's happening with the virus, that it's actually mutating. So 2 days ago, I see that the Chinese government put out that there are 2 different strands of the coronavirus. And there could be more, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not a scientist. Also, I should say that all the videos that I do are for entertainment purposes only. I'm not making recommendations that people go out and buy certain things, certain products, or anything like that. So I wanted to do a follow-up video on the mutation and vaccine, and just kind of see where people are. As you guys probably know, almost every city, people are just going crazy with buying toilet paper, with buying canned goods, frozen goods. Almost everything is wiped out. Actually started quite some time ago and stocking up. So I've been pretty fortunate to have a lot of the stuff that people are trying to get to now. Anyhow, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the video. I pulled out a few different tarot decks. So I'm actually going to start out with Next World Tarot. I'm hoping to get more positive messages regarding the outcome of this, rather than trying to scare people. So let's just see what happens. Whew, if I can get these out. Maybe that's a sign it's not going to be so easy. It's going to happen, but it's not going to be that easy. So like I said, the first deck I'm actually going to use is the Next World Tarot. St. Michael, St. Gabriel, St. Raphael, St. Metatron, protect us, hold us in love and light in gold and white. I'm asking St. Raphael to come forward, since you are the patron saint of sickness and healing and medicine. If you could actually come forth and give us any messages regarding the coronavirus, regarding the 2 different strains, the mutation of the virus. Come forth, St. Raphael, if you have any messages for us, regarding the coronavirus. Okay, so the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, the roots of water. Okay, I'm gonna hold off on the roots of water. And then the next card out we have is the Chariot. The Chariot. I don't know if I showed you guys the Ace of Cups, the roots of water, and you can take a look at that card. Ace of Cups, crossed by the Chariot. The next card we have is the Ten of Swords. It was in reverse. We have Ruin. That person looks like a zombie. The next card out is the Two of Pentacles. I got it in reverse. The Two of Pentacles, that's in the past position. Next we have the Queen of Swords, and that was in reverse. That's what sits on top of the reed. Next we have the Ace of Swords, the Roots of Action, that's in the future position. Next we have the Ten of Cups, Safety. Next we have the Wheel of Fortune. Next we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And then the Six of Wands, and in the corner we have Victory, if you can see that, Victory. So that makes me feel good. I mean, we always knew that, and I don't know if you guys can see this, it says decolonization and rebirth. I'll tell you that what I noticed, and the first thing that I noticed as I was pulling more cards on this read, the first thing that I noticed that stood out to me, that there's a lot of plants. Like in the past position, we have the Two of Pentacles. They're plants, they're flowers in this one. And what sits on top, we have the Queen of Swords. They're plants in this one, red plants in this one. The next one we had was the Ace of Swords, the Roots of Action. You'll see the greenery in this one. And then in the Six of Wands, the Victory card, the Final Outcome, there are plants in this one. A lot of red plants specifically. I know that before I was talking about herbal teas, I think that berries that are red, I think, are higher in antioxidants, which fights free radicals. Again, I'm not a doctor, so before you go out and purchase anything like teas or anything like that, please consult with your physician first. But I'm just saying what I actually see in the card. This is just for entertainment purposes only. I'm not making recommendations. And so that was the first thing. And also I don't know if I said this yet, the Ten of Cups. Even though we have like bare tree branches, there's still some greenery around. Again, there's the two things that stick out to me in the plant life is red, like red flowers, and green leaves, almost like tea leaves to me. They almost look like tea leaves. Like not just tea leaves. Oh my God, I can't think of the herb right now. I hope it comes to me. Anyhow, that being said, that's the first thing that I saw. Now, with this Ace of Cups, when I was looking at this card, and you see the roots of water, of course, we know that water is very important in staying dehydrated. But to me, what stood out the most was this single flower or plant life, isolated, separate from the healthy plants, the thriving plants here. So it could be that they're trying to, well, we know that they're trying to separate the sick from the healthy, but I think that, and these to me like look like little cells here. And when I saw that, when I first saw the card, I immediately thought in that really soon we're going to see even more cases popping up. But they're already trying to isolate, separate us, do social distancing. But I think it's going to get even more specific than just that. The isolation. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that the entire country is going to go into martial law or whatever. I feel like it has more to do with trying to figure out a way to isolate the disease and separate the people who are ill from the healthy. The other thing that I noticed was like the palm trees in the background. So we may see more of an increase maybe in Florida, California. That's what I'm getting from this. Mostly Florida. I don't know why I feel more Florida than California with this particular card. And with the chariot, what's crossing us is um, the chariot in most decks just means moving forward, being able to power through, being able to get through it. However, in this particular deck, what I'm looking at is someone who's actually privileged, kind of looking around and looking down on the desolation that's around her, which to me raises another red flag about, if you have the money, you can probably get the test. You can probably, you're going to be able to see the best doctors. You're going to be able to get the best care. You're going to be able to eat the best food. With this particular card, that's what I'm seeing. And then the people who may be marginalized or who are poor or don't have enough money to put food on the table may not necessarily be able to get the best care or eat the best foods. That's what I'm getting from that. And then with the Ten of Swords, I mean, I got it in reverse, but in the right hand corner you'll see it's ruin. And this person looks like a zombie. I mean, this disease, this virus is really taking a toll on all societies all around the world. It's taking a toll on the world. However, I do think that even with this card, I don't see this as us. I see this as a virus. They're really trying to slow it down. They're trying to stop it. In the past position, in reverse, we have the Two of Pentacles. I'm not paying attention to the Two of Pentacles. What I'm paying attention to is the actual closeness that these two individuals like sharing a space. And I got it in reverse, and I just feel like in the past, they should have moved a lot quicker with trying to isolate the disease by telling people, firmly telling people that they need to practice social distancing. And then I got the Queen of Swords, but it was in reverse. And we all know that the Queen of Swords, especially in reverse, can be a vicious person. So I would take the Queen of Swords in this to actually be the virus. Like, this is what's sitting on top of us right now, and we're trying to get through it. Every time I think about this virus, or I want to do a read on it, or I always think of the Tasmanian devil. like that's the sound that I hear in my head, because I feel like that's how fast the virus is moving and that's how vicious it is. It's nothing to play with. Like these people who believe that it's not real, um, people who believe that it's not actually real or it's not happening, they're delusional. I don't know, like I can't figure it out. It's like, well, do you think that all these people that they're reporting that are dying in Italy or that have died here in the United States or China, is that a hoax? Like, this is crazy. I understand that mentally, maybe some people just don't want to deal with the fact that this is really happening because it's like something out of a movie. But I would rather be safe than sorry, and be prepared for what's to come in the next few weeks than to fool myself into thinking that this is not real. It's just a hoax. I'm not going to play with my health or other people's health like that. That being said, they are working on different ways to actually combat the virus, whether not just with a vaccine, but also maybe trying to figure out which antiviral medications might actually work to combat the disease, or, making recommendations to patients how to boost their immunities, take your probiotics or whatever it is that you do to just maintain your health. It's very important to this is going to ruin a lot. With this card, the Ten of Cups, I know it has to do with family and happiness, and it's very important to stay close to our families right now, especially those family members who can't take care of themselves, or the elderly, to help them as well. But um, as you can see in this neighborhood, it's not the greatest. And this is just telling me like this is probably the aftermath, whether it's financial aftermath after this disease or whatever, that it's going to truly affect people all around the world. Again, with the Wheel of Fortune, I do see that they are working diligently. You see all the tools in here. They're actually brainstorming and trying to figure out ways that they can combat this, not just with vaccines, in which antivirals will actually work to combat the virus, but also how they can reach out to all communities to get them to isolate themselves and to separate themselves from each other, to just kind of slow the virus down until they can actually get a hold of it. Again, with this one we have the Page of Pentacles. Yes, Pentacles has to do with money, but just pay attention to the picture. I know that this person is a tattoo artist, but this is not the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this particular card. The first thing that came to my mind was laboratory. And so I know that they are working on vaccines, and they are trying different ways to actually, again, trying to find different avenues to combat the virus, whether it's antivirals, whether it's how to, washing your hands, using alcohol, social distancing. They're trying all avenues to slow it down. And of course, the final card that I got was actually the Six of Wands, which is victory. So it will be isolated. Think of this as the virus, and you see the wands around it, and this person is confined to this one space. Decolonization is probably a really important term, especially since the disease, it just takes one cell to get into your lungs and they just multiply. So they're trying to figure out a way to isolate the disease, possibly like once it's starting to incubate, how they can isolate the disease to decolonize the bacteria that's causing the virus, whether that's with an antiviral, a vaccine, or whatever. Okay, so I'm done with that deck. Thank you, Saint Raphael. And let's see. Actually, I think I want to maybe I've not used this deck. This is a kind of a new deck. It's called the Guild Tarot. For whatever reason, I pulled this deck out. So sometimes when that happens, uh, there's a message in it. There's a message in it that I need to pass on. Saint Raphael, are there any other messages that you'd like to bring forth regarding the coronavirus, regarding the two strains? So the next card I got was content. Now, I don't think this has anything to do with the virus. I think this has to do with the government being to making people feel like, I think Trump said something like people need to relax. No, if there had been some sense of urgency 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, whenever the virus broke out and who went to China and said for us to prepare, we probably wouldn't be as in bad of a situation. So to try to make people feel like they need to relax and calm down is not the way. Okay, I don't think people should panic, but people need to be prepared. Don't fall into that trap. Oh, it's just a hoax. It's not real. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. And I think, okay, and then prosperity. So this has to do with money. Okay. So we know that this is going to definitely affect money. Sorrow. The next card out was sorrow. So there's going to be sorrow possibly. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of sorrow behind, like, losing money, but also just people brokenhearted for losing family members, or people who are taking care of family members who may be sick and not knowing what's going to happen to them. We just have to pray. Desolation. We got a lot of tens, so we're almost at the end of this, okay? But desolation means that, look at it. It's a city and it's dark. And this is what's happening right now. This is, people are trying to stay to themselves. They're not going to, and it says enterprise. Enterprise, that's another 3 card. Enterprise, this is definitely going to affect money. This is going to affect Wall Street. This is going to affect small businesses, big businesses, corporations. It's going to affect a lot of people. St. Raphael, are there any other messages you'd like to bring forth regarding the coronavirus, the strains, the 2 strains? Anything you'd like to bring forth regarding the coronavirus? Let's see. Any further messages? Any other messages any of the angels want to bring forth? Okay, victory. Victory. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that with this particular deck, and I am going to, so we are going to conquer this. I know it's taking time. It's frustrating. It's really interrupted a lot of lives. It's invoked a lot of fear in people, and which is understandable. I'm scared myself because I have asthma, and this is really scary to me because you don't know who has it. Okay. These are just like extra cards that there's nothing on them. It's just blank cards. So I'm going to use the mixed emotion cards. Angels, can you bring forth any messages regarding the coronavirus, how people are actually feeling? How's the collective feeling? And that's for the world. That's for too many cards. Okay. This does not feel right. I think that maybe, okay, so the card that came out was excited. I'm sure people are not excited in a way that they're excited because they're happy. I think this means anxiety. Like this is excited, a lot of emotions. People are anxious. So please don't get that card twisted. Resentful. I'm sure people resent their governments for not responding quicker, for not having a handle on the situation. I'm sure that people are upset with the CDC, the WHO organization. Because people don't really know, like, we look to our leaders to actually guide us. And yeah, the next card out was grief. There's a lot of grief, you know, sorrowful, heartbroken, and bereaved. People have lost loved ones. People may be sick. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going to happen to them. They don't know how they're going to pay the bills. There's so many sides to this. People feel like it's a hopeless situation. This is hopeless. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is going to be victory. So just hang in there and try to take care of yourselves and keep your immune system up. However you do that, try to keep away from large crowds. I think the CDC put out today, no crowds larger than 50 people. Angels, can you give us one more card? One more card? Okay, I got two more. Okay, proud. So in the end, I don't know if that necessarily means that we're going to be proud of how far we've actually come, but we will get to the point. And afraid, of course. People are afraid. People are afraid. Okay, so I didn't really get any messages regarding the strains. So that's pretty much my read for the coronavirus. And I guess I just wanted to give confirmation that the gut feeling that I had mutated, and there was another virus. I get in with me being called into that store and seeing the kaleidoscope. I think that was maybe guidance to get into the store so they could show me exactly what was happening. It did mutate. It separated into a different virus, and that was confirmed by Chinese officials, I think 2 days ago. You guys can look it up. So I hope you guys have a blessed day. Please continue to take care of yourselves, whatever that means to you. Please take care of your loved ones, especially the elderly and young people. Just because this virus is affecting more elderly than young people, still try to do the social distancing. I know you guys like to party, but that being said, God be with everyone. Mixie Tarot out.